Good morning. Welcome to the breakfast hour. It is terrific Thursday, and my, it is a wonderful privilege to be here joining you on the breakfast hour. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Of course, I must add my quota of welcome as well. Good morning, everyone. And of course, this morning is indeed a beautiful morning. This is what we call Thursday to be the community Thursday, where we share within the communities and the community can share with us. Of course, if you have something that is happening in your community, our community notice board is up. Guys, you can always put your information there. We will, for you, tell everybody about it. And of course, we'll be your public servants at that time.
Of course, Mikey G. And I want to take this opportunity to greet our viewers that are spread all over the world. We are going to every nook and cranny. And I want to greet our VIPs up there in Philly. Good morning to you, those of you in the USA, in the ATL, in the Texas area, in the Florida area. Welcome to the breakfast hour. And if you're in the Grand K, a warm welcome to you. Today I woke up. Yes, I woke up to a very beautiful morning. However, there was a few thunderings in the distance, Mikey G, and just a little drizzle of rain. Just that little mix.
When the rain falls, do you really want to get out
Let
there?
the rain fall.
Do you really want to come out? Do you want to come out?
Rain. Yeah.
Do you want to come out the bed when the rain falls? Do you want to get out of your house when the rain is falling? Don't answer that because you might get it.
But to be honest, when I looked up and I recognized what's happening in other areas of the world, and when I woke up to the warm welcome of the morning, I thought about those people who are displaced this morning by war, those who can't rest because, of course, you have to be thinking of your safety or the safety of your neighbor. And I think of us as this global village and what is impacting far and near and how it impacts us. So I thought about all of that this morning as I embraced the morning.
Lady Elise, as you mentioned that we were having a conversation earlier. And we talked a little bit about the idea of when we are in the regions and different regions across the world, and we are affected by the same thing. I remember when COVID was a thing, and I talked about it several times. But for the purpose of this conversation, I will reiterate. And of course, I light it a little bit. And when COVID came, it was in China, and everybody was having a situation in China, and people were suffering, people were dying, and people were quarantined. Basically, a state of emergency was in place where people couldn't venture outdoors and had to stay inside. And we were on the other side of the world looking, and we were very concerned, and of course it was, people heartfelt concerns were there and say, wow, man, the people in China, oh my word, they are suffering. Look at what's happening to those persons in China, and it is a bad thing that's happening in China. China is having a problem. Oh my God, Chinese are dying. Oh wow, this disease is a Chinese disease, and these Chinese people possibly did something to bring it on themselves, and so China is. But regardless of that, and this conversation was spinning around in that direction.
Yes.
But we all stayed on the opposite side of the world, Lady Ellie. And we said these things. People were talking all these nonsense. They ate rats, and they had bats, and they had this kind of cockroaches, and that. And a whole bunch of videos was being circulated earlier prior to the COVID thing. And then when it came out, we hear that it's because they ate rat bats. That's why. Or somebody was interfering with the bats. I don't know which part of it was. I don't know how it works, but it was a bat disease that caused the whole thing. Now, when I heard the thing, I said to myself, wow. But the long and short of it was, people found the justification to separate themselves from the crisis but still sympathize with it. You see?
Yeah,
and that was what was very interesting. A propaganda came out to let people distance themselves and then sympathize but keep a distance from it and justify at the same time. The next step was to think for a minute that by just being in China, it is so far away, this thing will never affect us. But I remember going through the airport and I was asked the question, did you travel to any of these countries? And I said, no, I actually traveled to this country and this one, and this is where I'm at now. And I'm traveling back to this country. And the next thing I hear is that the same persons who asked me that question were under quarantine the next time. So if anybody traveled to that country, they'll be on a blacklist of people who you're in trouble, right? The same people who decided that if you travel to anywhere else, you'll be in problems. All I'm saying is this. We find ourselves always able to separate ourselves from person's crisis and not seeing the real thing that it will reach us soon. It is gas prices for us. It is food shortage. It is high cost of electricity bill and other personal amenities. But sure enough, persons on the other side, and we are screaming, oh my God, things are getting so rough. But consider the persons who are displaced by a weapon, that bunker busting weapon that bores through a school with children in there and killing everybody at the same time, right? And so we are looking at these things, and I said to myself, when we find ourselves able to basically find ourselves in a mood of feeling sympathy for someone, for ourselves, and our calamities, look at those who are actually suffering real situations. Fathers and mothers missing, daughters gone, sons are not found, and of course, uncles, brothers can't be found anywhere. Total cities destroyed, and people are displaced in thousands, nowhere to live. And you complain about high cost of gas. You should feel bad.
yeah,
You should feel
yeah.
bad.
The reality is, as I scan the pages of the news, and if you're listening from anywhere, would love to know what's happening in your neck of the woods. And it's important that we stay connected to what is happening around us, and do not kind of separate yourself from it too much in terms of saying, I'm fine over here. But as I cut up, that was obviously my thought this morning. But as we continue the conversation, Mikey G, I just want to remind our listeners that we are here every single day. The breakfast hour starts at 6:30 every morning, and we go until 9 a.m. and we get you ready for your work. So you can tune in. We are always on our radio app, www.flashpointmedia.ky. That's where you find our web radio. Tomorrow we have a very interesting morning lined up for you. And guess what, Mikey G? I'm going to give viewers a sneak peek, just a sneak peek of how my morning starts in.
Well, I guess we're all interested in knowing how your morning starts this morning, Elise, in the morning.
And I just want to say to our listeners, we normally share with you what is celebrated every single day. Now, today, on the 5th of March, is what? Slam the Scam Day?
The what? Slam?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Slam the Scam Day, Mikey G.
Well, from the term scam, I got a call from a number, and this man is calling from somewhere in New York, I understand. And he called and he says, good afternoon. This call is about a $6 million prize that you have possibly won, and 2 Mercedes-Benz. Immediately, I said, all right, thank you very much. I'm not interested in $1 million and the Mercedes Benz. They are too expensive to maintain. Thank you very much.
Well, National Slam the Scam Day falls on the Thursday during Consumer Protection Week, which is this week. The day is an initiative to raise public awareness by helping the public to combat social security related scams. Scammers are counting on you being uninformed of their deceptive tactics. The goal of this National Day is to get you informed on scammer tactics so you don't fall prey to their schemes. And recently, Mikey G, if you're on WhatsApp, if you're in any WhatsApp situation, it's just like a ripple effect. And I remember we had a guest, a cybersecurity expert who joined us here on the Breakfast Hour, and she spoke at length of what is your identification. I need to share that again with our listeners and
Yes.
viewers. And what are the information that you need to guard? You know, these things that sometimes we just throw receipts and we just throw things with our personal information, our address,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
those information, our phone numbers, our emails, those information that we need to manage how we handle them. So it's important that we stay informed. So today is marked in the US as National Slam the Scam Day. And wherever you are in the world, whether you're in the US or in the Caribbean, it's important for you to ensure that your personal information is not just
Out
on the
there for
dark
everyone
web.
to find randomly.
Yeah, yes, and people want this information. It's very valued. The following points come directly from the Inspector General for the Social Security Administration. Number one, be prepared. Real government officials will never threaten, arrest, or legal action against you unless you immediately send money. You know, they will say, if you don't send this money, we're going to do this. We're going to do that, right? We'll never promise to increase your benefits or resolve a problem if you pay a fee or move your money into a protected account. Require payment with gift cards, prepaid debit cards, wire transfer, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Or try to gain your trust by providing fake documentation, false evidence, or the name of a real government official. So be prepared. Know this stuff and don't just fall prey, because I am telling you, these scammers are getting very creative.
And desperate. And desperate. Remember that, Lady Liz, the scams are revealed every day, and different people, the scams are being revealed. And so you have to be coming
Yes.
up with new scams to scam people. And so
Yes.
this is where it is right now. People are out there, and there are times when they are not making any headways, you know. There are scammers who don't really make any headways, but it's just, they just need one person to be a prey, and they empty
Yes.
you completely gone, right? So you don't have to get 100 persons for the day. They just need to get one. And so they will
They just
try
need
100 persons, but they're still not stopping, because the potential of getting one person who says $6 million, oh my gosh, that would help me in my crisis need right now. What are you saying? I did earn this money. How can I get it? You know, first rule for my day for sending the money to you, if somebody asks me, that tell me that I win money, first thing I'm going to say, and it says, send us the fee to process, the processing fee of $1,000 to process the $6 million. I would say to them, and I would tell everyone to say this, and remember to say this, please. I don't have $1,000, but what I will do is, you can take that $1,000 from the money that I want and give yourself $100,000 out of it, just for helping me, and don't tell anybody. All right? Thank you very much. You know, pay yourself. I want you to do that, and then give me the change. Give me. And this is where you need to be. And people, you need to be there every time when somebody, and it's not as easy as that in many cases. In many cases, people call you and tell you that your car insurance is lapsing or something, and you might need to make a payment, or some tickets are outstanding and you may have to pay for it now because you'll be liable to go to court or to be fined. All these things that has happened. Above all of that is the voice of AI, of your family member that is in problems somewhere, in a crisis, jammed up by the police, locked up in a cell somewhere, and needs to be bailed out and needs cash right now before they lock up.
Yeah.
Before they get locked up, send the cash now so that they can be. And the tricky part about it is the person who is in the crisis, your son, your mother, your father, somebody. And it is their voice that is actually talking to you to send the money to them to this account. That's the really bad part. So you're hearing your relative talking to you, your loved one talking to you, and you're buying the story because it's not a stranger. It is an AI generated voice of a cloning of your child's actual voice that is speaking to you, or your dad's actual voice that is talking to you. And you actually will fall prey to some of these things if you're not careful. Because the first thing that gets you is the emotions that bypass common sense or proper judgment.
Yes, yes. So
always remember, when emotions get involved, judgment is gone through the window.
That is the world that we live in, Mikey G. That is, unfortunately, that's the world that we do live in.
Yes.
But, as we prepare to wrap up this sweet, nice version of the Breakfast Hour, I just want to remind our listeners to tune in to our live production this afternoon, and that is Flash Talk. So let's hear more from our
Talk. Uncut edition. Say it just how you feel it.
No filters, no fluff, just real talk with the full Flashpoint fam. Get with it.
From hot takes to belly laughs, the crew is locked in and ready.
From debates that might get a little spicy, including all VIP members.
This is where vibes meets voice, jokes meets truth, and we talk things.
We are here to get real.
It's raw, it's real, and it's about time.
This is Flash Talks, the uncut edition. Flash Farm. What are the things then now? Real people, real voices, real conversations.
Flash Talk, the uncut edition, at 7 p.m. every Thursday, right here on Flashpoint. Flash Talks, the uncut edition, right here on Flashpoint. Guys.
You can't afford to miss this one this week. Nikki B is going to keep it real right here. And, Mikey G, it is a terrific Thursday, and what a blessing it has been. I want to just encourage our listeners to stay connected to Flashpoint. If you haven't yet subscribed, now
is the time.
This is the time to do so. So we're looking forward to seeing our listeners and our viewers all the time right here. Remember to tune into the Breakfast Hour. Tomorrow we have a special guest joining us right here in the studio, and she has a lot of interesting information that you need to hear. So join us right here on the Breakfast Hour.
All right, guys, catch you tomorrow morning, same time, same place, when we do it all over again for you. Remember, our web radio continues to play all day. www.flashpointmedia.ky. Of course, we are launching our radio app soon, so please look out for the launch of Flashpoint Radio FM app in your app store.